Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you our panelists for the next session. We have the Executive Vice President of Corporate Engineering of Charan Pokapan Foods Public Company Limited คุณพีรพงศ์กรินชัยขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับคุณพีรพงศ์ครับ Please welcome คุณพีรพงศ์ on stage. And next we have the chair of ESBN Task Force on Green Economy, the founder and the president of World Green Organization, and also the chairman of Hong Kong Myanmar Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Albert Oung. Please welcome Mr. Albert on stage. And now I would like to hand it over to the moderator of this session. We have the CEO of WWF Thailand, Ms. Natalie Phaholyothin. ขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับคุณ Natalie Phaholyothin ครับ And a big round of applause for everyone once again.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, here in the room and virtually. Well, in Bangkok, it's after lunch, so I hope you're re-energized with all the calories you need. I am so distinguished today to be moderating a session with my two colleagues, Mr. Albert Oung and Mr. Peerapong from CPF. We don't have a lot of time, so just allow me to delve into the session. We've heard a lot this morning about sustainability. We've skirted through the issues of climate change. We've talked about the urgency to meet temperature rise not above 1.5 degrees Celsius. However, we haven't really talked much about the other side of climate change, the flip coin, which is nature and biodiversity. Right? And in this session, I'm hoping that our panelists here can help clarify and elucidate a little bit why businesses should care for nature and biodiversity, notably SDG 14, life on land, and SDG 15, life underwater. Now, as a general public, as me, Natalie, why do we care about biodiversity? Well, first of all, we all know we belong in this planet composed of many ecosystems that are actually linked, inextricably linked, through various small chains of living organisms, such as, for example, the bees that pollinate our flowers, the earth, the soil that grows our food, right? The trees that absorb our carbon. We all know this. Now, what does it mean for businesses? So let me start with Kun Albert, alphabetical order. No prejudice here, just alphabetical order. Albert Oung, as our facilitator just said, has done so much in terms of business and the environment. And my question to you, Kun Albert, is why should businesses care about SDGs 14 and 15?
Thank you, Nat. I think we should go back to what life, purpose in life is all about. For all mankind. So, since all the living creatures in the world are interconnected, and depending on each other for living. So, the objective behind all the things that we are doing, although we are now looking forward for economic development as well as our life, when we are still alive on earth, what are the purpose? Is it just to make money or just to earn a living? Or you have a much higher purpose in life? So, because all the problems that we are arising now in the world is actually is a byproduct of the economic development. So we need to restore that order. So in order to make it attractive and also appealing, we should come up with something with a new green mindset, a paradigm shift of what you would do. So we are talking about kind of a new business model where we have multiple objectives, earning happy money, but at the same time doing good to the environment, Also helping people, life at stake. The economy, which is also in problems. There's a lot of things that you can achieve. So I think with such a new mindset change, I think people can then understand why do we have to do so many things at the same time. Should it be the responsibility of a government or a person? But to me, and I believe for many of us, the globalization has given us a chance to know more about ourselves. So not only the rights that we are now perceiving, but also you ought to have the responsibilities in response to it. So I think this is what we ought to see at this level.
Thank you for that. I love your analogy of happy money. I think it's a win-win for everyone. And your fact that responsibility is everyone's duty. So I'm going to turn my attention now to my other colleague here, Mr. Peerapong. Mr. Peerapong, as the Executive Vice President of Charoen Phokaphan Foods, or CPF, it's one of the largest agro-industries in Asia Pacific. What are your thoughts in terms of the business case for investing in nature? Maybe you might want to talk about it in response to Albert's linkage to the responsibilities, being the happy money, meaning it's a win-win for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And good afternoon, everyone. As Albert mentioned, happy money. CPF, we want to generate happy money as well, so that we ensure our material coming into the production or into the process coming from the traceability source, and we commit not to receive any material coming from the deforestation or anything. So give you a big picture. We started a program in 2015 that on the material coming into the business. So talking about business of the CPF, we have a very long supply chain, all right? So we start from receiving the grains, and when we talk about grains, we talk about maize, we talk about soybean, we talk about palm oil, we talk about cassava. So that all this material coming in to the feed factory, that we produce feed, then go to the animal, then go to the, raise the animal, then go to the slaughterhouse, and then come to our table. The whole chain takes about 6 to 8 months from the very beginning until onto our customer table. The whole thing needs to be traceable until the source of the material that we receive. And we are pleased to announce that within 2021, 100% of our maize in Thailand, we are traceable back to the source of growing, all right? And CPF worldwide, CPF operate in 17 countries, and we serve 4 billion people across 5 continents, all right? And we are certain that in 2021, 25% of our raw material are traceable. And our objective is 2030, 100% of our raw material using in our process are traceable. Right now, if you want to be our supplier, you have to register. The farmer has to register, and also the trader has to register. Then the system developed so that we can track back to each individual farmer, the location of the farm, to the trader, the location of the trading, and also the location of the material they receive. And then the whole system will connect with blockchain to trace back to the material supply worldwide. The system will complete in this third quarter, and then we start implementing onward. The objective is by 2030, 100% of our raw material will be traceable, and there will be no deforestation or any environmental impact because of our operation at all. Thank you.
Well, that's a very significant commitment, and I think that underlines your responsibility to impart SDG 14, Life on Land. So thank you very much for that intervention. I saw Albert move. Maybe would you like to say anything in reaction to that?
Oh, yes. I have always been very talkative. Want to say a lot of things. But anyway, there are a lot of things happening into the world because of the globalization. The new world order is actually it's not about political. It's about how you conduct your business. You know how you live in a meaningful way. But there's a change in the way how we look at things, sort of collectively, as what I said, you know. The word green itself, you know, according to, is now redefined, not just environmental friendly. It is about doing goodness, kindness, or righteousness. You're doing things ethically, okay? So with that notion, this is kind of a mindset change, you know, that people, when they understand the reason why they are doing all the things that they want to do, no matter it's commercial, social, or politically, you know, serving people is the ultimate goal. Okay, with that, then you will see how things go, because the most important thing for us now, for the government around the world, or Asia Pacific countries, is to set up a new set of rule of the games for businessmen, for people, so that they know where they are up to, the new direction, which will be very clear. So that's why the UN ASCAP has come up, you know, and with something new, which for the Sustainable Business Network are pushing forward for this Asia Pacific Green Deal. And this is exactly what we are talking about, you know, the kind of paradigm shift of the way how we're doing business and also our living. So there's a lot of things that, you know, we can really look forward, because now the world has come to a stage that we will have global standards, global measurements, certification. It's no longer like from other different countries or regions that they have their own kind of standards. So I think this is a change which everybody will embrace. Okay, so.
Thank you for that. Following from the trail of thought that you had left us with, Albert, I wanted to go back to the happy money, green and happy money, I guess, because businesses eventually do look at the profit line. And I wanted to direct this question to Kun Peerapong. What CPF is doing with addressing its deforestation through supply chains is remarkable. So could you explain a little bit in terms of your company, the balancing between profitability and sustainability? You could also talk about, you know, the new technological innovations that your company has embraced in order to really take your company forward in your journey on net zero. Thank you.
All right, thank you. CPF as the leader in agro industry, which is one of the biggest in the world, we think this is our duty to lead the way so that the people will follow. All right, so that in 2021 we set up the sustainability strategy, so that we comprise of 3 pillars. One of this is food security. The second one is self-sufficient society. And the third one, we talk about the balance of nature. Key of this topic, this is about the balance of nature, so that we ensure we do our business without disturbing the environment as much as possible. All right. And then when we look at this, the thing that we try to create the impact to the world at this moment, for example, like CPF Thailand, we set 2022 as the coal-free, all right? So that by the end of this year, there will be no operation in Thailand using coal as a fuel anymore. And we are going further, trying to switch from liquid fuel like Bangladesh into LNG. Talking about that, then when we look at our own operation, and we try to improve in every segment of our operation, because if everyone know about the technical, you know that switching from liquid fuel like Bangladesh into the gas LNG is actually saving about 20% of the carbon emission. But we said that, hey, we're gonna do it. It's not about the price because gas is quite expensive at this moment. We need to spend more money. But in order to take advantage of 20% of the carbon reduction within our process. And I just mentioned during the lunchtime that we are looking at a new technology. Assume that we can use hydrogen to our process, meaning like replace the LNG or replace the fuel within our process. Hydrogen convert back to water, meaning that the hydrogen will not make any impact, or in other words, there will be no carbon emission from our process at all. This is something that we are looking at this moment, trying to make the conversion of our process to make it more efficient, and at the same time to find the other material to replace our fuel that would be less impact to the environment in the future. One other good example that we set for the industry to follow is we set up the RE100, meaning like renewable energy 100% within our chicken farm. All right, we are running the experiment at this moment that we can isolate our chicken farm using the waste from the chicken to generate the biogas, and then use that biogas to generate power. And we actually short about 20-30% of the power usage within our farm. Then we use a solar cell, and we use the program called energy management system, that the whole farm will be rely on the energy consumption by itself and generate by itself, so that it's going to be complete RE100 coming next year. This is actually, we don't make any money out of this, but we want to make a showcase that to live in the world with less disturbing to the environment, we can make it. Thank you.
Thank you. I will turn now to Albert. Those are impressive things you're doing, by the way, Kun Peerapong. Albert, first of all, as a regional leader, right, leading a task force here on green economy, what gives you optimism from a business sector perspective on how the world is moving on this global momentum on sustainability? What gives you optimism?
I mean, I've been in the green business for over 40 years. Actually, I've learned so much. Mistakes as well. What I see now to the world is, especially after the pandemic, we need a complete reset of what we are doing now. So when we look around and see what are happening in different countries, or the many technologies or many business models that people are doing, actually, we are moving forward, to a stage that when we have the determination to do good, and when we do the application right, technology and solutions are always there. And frankly speaking, nowadays we are not lack of any solutions. It's only about the determination to apply how we want to achieve, for what purpose. So with that, actually, the UN ESCAP and Sustainable Business Network, we are also hoping to come up with more programs, training programs, especially on the leadership intelligence, LI, which we would like to focus on, is to train leaders to know about the new paradigm shift. What does it look like? Even when we're talking about the kind of a metaverse that we are now currently talking about, and we have to be updated ourselves with the many solutions that we are embracing. So I'm very optimistic because a lot of things are now moving forward very fastly. So, all our audience should be well prepared, for such changes. Embrace all the problems you have. Don't look at it as always as a challenge or a negative thing. Embrace it and find out, the most important things that I really hope to share with our audience. Like the worst thing that can happen to you is if you don't know what the problems are. Once you know the problem, at least you know how the direction to move around. And this is the kind of green positive thoughts that we are now pushing forward through the UN ESCAP. And then I think this is what we want to do.
Speaking with true words of wisdom there, Albert. I would like to ask the same question to you as well, Kun Peerapong. What, as an industry leader, leading also the sustainability vision for CPF, what makes you optimistic about this sustainability movement this time?
If you asked me this question last year, and at the end of last year, there was a science-based target set up at 42% by 2030 and going to zero by 2050. I was talking to the team. There's no way we can make it, all right? But once we commit to deliver this, there'll be some certain technology. Right now, I can tell you that every week, I'm going to meet with some of the startup SME to talk about the new technology, about something that we can apply into our business so that we can reduce the carbon emission, so that we can improve our efficiency. What coming into my mind is like, you know what, as you said, if we have the clear direction, solution will come. Solution will come. Then the technology is there already. It's just a matter that we will bring this in or we bring that in. At the end of this, by 2030, we achieve the result that we set. All right? I agree with you that the answer is there. And talking about the target of science-based target, and I believe that everyone here understands about the concept of this. And it was the first time that we really set up this target, that's something that, everyone needs to deliver in order to make sure the world is not getting worse, right? During the lunch, we talk about the temperature in India that reached 51 degrees C. People in Thailand, we know it, right? Even just 40 degrees C, we hardly living in this environment, all right? Then this is the climate change. It becomes very obvious. So that if the leading company like CPF wouldn't do anything, that would be the other to follow. Then we have to lead the way so that the other will follow. And we always share our learning, our best practice to the other so that the technology and its improvement is helping the world. And this is our world. This is not the world that we can move away or, leave it in the near future. We have to be with it so that we have to make sure that everything that we do right now is actually helping the world to make it better. In our talking with the team, we say 2030 is today. This is today. It's not, another 8 years, no. 2030 is today. What can we do today to deliver the commitment of what we have? And that would make the world better.
Thank you. Yes, Albert, I see you might want to say something, your hand gesture.
Okay. In response to your comment just now, actually there is one campaign that we are putting up by the UN ESCAP is introducing the Asia Pacific Green Deal. And with that, we will come up with a number of projects and programs, one of which we hope to formulate is the Green Economic Zone. But again, in response to what you said, echo of what you said, there are rules of the games. There are best manufacturing practice, best business practices. Now it's becoming a world standard. So nobody can hide away from it. This is a transparent world too, and the technologies are there. So in the past, when we thought like, when we using the old mindset, we thought like, if we want to resolve an environment issue, it would take 5 years or 10 years. Now, actually, it doesn't. It only takes a year or two. Mm-hmm. And even the generation that we are talking about is like, hey, in the past, we're talking maybe 3 to 5 years would be one generation, but it's not now. It's 2 years or 1.5, 2 years is one next generation. So we have to be prepared and also look into that. And the solutions are there. So just go, because of the internet, there's lots of information that we can look into.
I hear from both of you a true sense of optimism. Because there are solutions, because there is a recognition of urgency of action, because we all know 2030 is not in the future, but it is today, as Kun Peerapong had mentioned. We don't have much time left, so maybe this will probably, unfortunately, be our last question, but I'd like to pose it to both of our panelists. In your mind, as we think about the future on this sustainability path, what is your vision that you would like to share and inspire to the younger generation or to other companies who are going to embark on this journey, mindful of the biodiversity and the nature targets that we were talking about?
Be an optimistic person with truly positive thinking. This is very important for all youngsters, because it's not only you think whether you can make it or not, but you should have the confidence, because as what we shared earlier, there are so many solutions in the world now. Most important thing is to ask for ask for it, and also to learn from it. And I will recommend one very simple thing, but this is what I would talk to all the young people, is to learn the history. Learn what had happened in the past, because then you would learn. You would know what you can do for the future. Don't make the same mistake, or making a better mistake. This is the worst thing that would happen to you. Ask many wise people surrounding you. They will give you a lot of solution, positive too. So be a positive person. No matter whether you are confident or not, you ought to be confident. You ought to be happy, because you have to enjoy your life so that you can do a lot of things together. It's a teamwork era, so you are not alone. So if you can find more people together to work with you for the same purpose, you will gain the power. Okay, this is the power that you need. Thank you.
I think echo from what you said. My dream is like, actually right now, I don't think that I'm Thai anymore. I am the people of the world, all right? So that you go to Europe, you go to US, guys, stop thinking that you are the US citizen, you are UK citizen. You are the people of the world. And we live in only this world, all right? So that personally, we have to think global, that whatever we act today is actually for our next generation, all right? This is a way how to look at this, because if I just think that I'm Thai, all right? Hey, I don't need to care about what happened in China, what happened in India. No. Right now, the world is just so small. 20 years ago, we talk about the world is just very big. Today, we talk about the world is too small. What happened here, what we're doing here, is actually the consequence might happen in India or in other countries, because we live in the same world. All right, that's what for the personal thinking, so that people need to change their mind about the way we live, that we are the people of Thailand. No. We are the world people. We are the people of the world. Then go to the company level. CPF always thinking that, hey, we are not living alone in this planet. So we want to join hands with small companies, not only to be in the same food sector, but also in every segment, in every kind of business, to join hands and develop the roadmap of success on the sustainability and the future of living people. So by doing this, what I'm talking is not about to have the big conglomerate setting up the sustainability target and try to deliver in 2030 and 2050. But I'm convincing to all people in our company, no matter what you small or big or medium, but you need to have your mind set for the future of the world, for the future of the global. Then what is the roadmap of the sustainability that we can go together, because we live in the same world.
Thank you, and my speakers have been so good with time. I think I just have enough time to summarize and conclude what the panelists have said. So I think the key messages is that the momentum has already gained traction. Sustainability is here to stay, and it's going to become the way business operates. That's what I heard. I also heard that now is the pivotal time to act. We have to act now because 2030 is today. I also heard and felt with the panelists the optimism because there are solutions. There are directions and there are standards that will guide the business sector in delivering the SDGs, especially 14 and 15. I also heard that, which is very inspirational, doing good is what all citizens should do. And all citizens is not citizen tied to nations, but we are all global citizens, interconnected, each one of us forming an inextricable link, like all the species on this planet. And on this, I'd love to conclude this session. I really want to thank my two distinguished panelists for their wisdom today. Thank you very much, Ka.
Thank you very much.
And a big round of applause to everyone on stage, and please remain on your seat. And now I have changed my mind. I'm not Thai anymore. I am the people of the world, citizen of the world, and you are too. So thank you very much to our panelists and also our moderators, Kun Peerapong, Kun Albert, and also Kun Natalie.